So why is it that with kidney disease, we often are seeing anemia? Why do we see that really more commonly in people with kidney disease? Is there a correlation between anemia maybe making kidney disease worse?
People can become anemic just because they're not producing as many red blood cells. If you move towards a very plant-heavy diet incorrectly, or maybe what you do is just stop eating meat.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Kidney Coach YouTube channel. I'm naturopath Fiona Chin, and I'm joined today by the beautiful Jessianna Seville from the Kidney Nutritional Institute again.
Yeah.
So why don't we start with what is anemia? What is iron deficiency? What does that look like, and how would someone know that they've got that?
Great question. So anemia is characterized by not having enough red blood cells, essentially, not being able to oxygenate your red blood cells. Hemoglobin is the part. Oh, and I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead into test values. But if you can't, to simplify, if you can't oxygenate your tissues, right? Our red blood cells carry oxygen to all our tissues, among other things. And if you don't have enough, or if you don't have the right components on these red blood cells to carry oxygen, then your tissues are starving for oxygen, and that really prohibits healing. It prohibits, function. It's just a very critical part of overall health. I mean, all of us know what it is to take, a deep breath, and how important air and oxygen and breath is to how we feel. And it's the same for all our organs. You have to have your blood to be able to carry it around.
So why is it that with kidney disease, we often are seeing anemia as being, we often think it's a symptom of, but I think some of these later studies are maybe saying that's not just the case. But why do we see that really more commonly in people with kidney disease?
I think there's a couple of reasons. So just physiologically, one of the hormones that our kidneys make that allows our body to make red blood cells, erythropoietin, one of these hormones, is produced in the kidneys. And so if your kidneys start declining, you may not produce as much of this anymore, which is one of the reasons. And so people can become anemic just because they're not producing as many red blood cells. That's, one functional reason. There can be other things, just such as the overall systemic inflammation, that I think contributes to overall anemia. But the other thing that I see, which is not so much causation by the disease, it's just because of how people react to changing their lifestyle because of it, is a lot of people move towards very restrictive diets, especially very plant-heavy diets, which we're huge fans of plant-heavy diets. So I'm not dogging on them at all. We use them all the time. But if you move towards a very plant-heavy diet incorrectly, or maybe what you do is just stop eating meat, but you don't actually increase other things in your diet, that's the other place I see people becoming anemic, because they suddenly lose this huge mineral source in their diet, aka the meat, and they're not getting the nutrients that are needed to help produce red blood cells. The iron, the B vitamins, a lot of the minerals. And so I think that's one of the other things I see.
And is there a correlation between anemia maybe making kidney disease worse, or well, we know, like, I'm looking for which causal direction. So we were talking before that, because the kidneys produce EP, erythropoietin, that it can contribute to it. But I know that potentially, is it that anemia, is there a cycle there? Like, if you're anemic, are you going to make your kidney disease worse? Is there any correlation between that? Like, is it important? Like, if you had kidney disease, you've got so many things going on, why should I bother at looking at anemia, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, yeah, super great question. There's a lot of things in kidney disease. It's like chicken or the egg, but it really is just feeding both ways, right? And anemia is that way. So yes, kidney disease can cause anemia, but guess what? Anemia can worsen kidney disease. It's not necessarily going to cause kidney disease, but if you have kidney disease, it's going to worsen it.
What else do we need to say about anemia and kidney disease? Is there anything else that I've missed or we haven't covered that you think people need to know?
I think probably as a recap is that it's easy to change, right? You just get the labs done. If you have chronic kidney disease, you haven't had a full iron panel, in a while, at least like once a year, you should get that, and keep tabs on, you know, what's going on. I think that is a prudent thing to do, is to at least once a year, probably even if you don't have kidney disease, it's good to keep a tab on that. But even if you don't have kidney disease, once a year, get an iron panel, or iron study, as you would call it, and then make sure you have all the labs, so you have a baseline, and you can also see if things start to trend down. Because like I said, it's so easy to fix with your food. That would be a couple of things that I would very heavily emphasize. The other thing that I would emphasize is that if you're moving towards a plant-based diet, which we love those, I think they're fantastic, but if you're moving towards a plant-based diet, then make sure that you're considerate and conscientious of adding in some of those mineral-rich, iron-rich foods into your diet, because it's super easy to get a hole, and, you know, 3 to 6 months, you're like, man, why do I feel so run down? But you can just put it in your diet. Sesame seeds, you know, some of the nuts, the pepitas, the snow peas, you know, all those things can really add those minerals into your diet without having a lot of meat.
I'm just grateful to have you as part of our resource team. So I think we feel very blessed, and people have been loving the videos, by the way. So we've got some really great comments. And if you want to know more about what we do, head to www.kidneycoach.com. You can find out about the Kidney Disease Solution Program there, and our supplements on Kaigenesis. We've got a few there as well. Remember to hit subscribe. That way you'll get notified anytime we put up a new video. And thank you for being part of our community. We look forward to seeing you next time. And Jessianna, thanks again.
Yeah, thanks.